Stop. Before you watch another video after this one, before you ask that chatbot one more question, before you scroll one more feed, listen. There is a machine running right now. It has no face. It makes no sound where you are sitting, but it is quietly becoming one of the most energy-hungry entities in the history of human civilization. And you are feeding it, not with money, with attention, with curiosity, with the tiny, unconscious habit of reaching for your phone when you are bored, lonely, or lost. The tech giants are not afraid of government regulations. They are not afraid of competition. They are afraid of you realizing what you're actually plugged into. This is not a climate lecture. You don't need to feel guilty about streaming your favorite show. But you do need to see the hidden world on the other end of the wire. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here is a question to hold in your mind for the next few minutes. What if your screen is the most dangerous thing in your home? Not dangerous like a weapon, dangerous like a slow leak in a submarine. Invisible, silent, compounding. Let me give you a number: 460 to 490 terawatt hours. This is how much electricity the world's data centers consumed in a single year, 2025. But here is what that actually looks like in the real world. It is roughly equal to the entire annual electricity consumption of France, a nation of 68 million people. Their lights, their factories, their high-speed trains, their hospitals, all of it, matched entirely by servers. And that was before the AI explosion fully hit. The International Energy Agency projects that by 2030, that number will double to 945 terawatt hours. That is the equivalent of Japan's total energy use today. We are not talking about a rounding error. We are talking about the fastest growing industrial demand on planet Earth. Let me paint you a picture. It is 7 a.m. somewhere in the world. Not a specific place, but every place at once. A student in Toronto opens her laptop and asks AI to help her structure an essay. Simultaneously, a man in Mumbai is streaming a cricket match in 4K. A grandmother in Lagos is video calling her daughter in London. A teenager in Seoul uploads a 3-minute TikTok of his dinner. All of this happening in the same millisecond. All of it invisible. All of it costing something tangible. Most people look at their phone and see a miracle of miniaturization. They see glass and silicon and wireless freedom. But on the other end of that wire, there is a building. Sometimes a building the size of 15 football fields, filled floor to ceiling with servers. Row after row after row, all humming, all hot, all consuming electricity at a rate that would make your head spin. These are data centers, and they are the true cost of your digital life. Here is the cruel irony of the digital age. Servers generate massive amount of heat. Thousands of processors running millions of calculations get hot enough to melt themselves. So, data centers don't just need electricity to run, they also need electricity to run the refrigerators to cool them. The cooling system in these facilities account for anywhere from 20% to 50% of their total energy draw. So when you stream a movie, you aren't just paying for bytes. You are paying for the industrial air conditioners. You are paying for the backup diesel generators. And in many cases, you are paying for millions of gallons of water boiled into steam just to keep the chips from frying. Not these ones. But the planet is paying in something far more consequential. Now I want to talk about the elephant in the server room: artificial intelligence, AI. Most people, when they think about energy-hungry technology, think about Bitcoin. For years we heard the horror stories, and the data backs that up. Bitcoin mining consumes approximately 176 terawatt hours per year. It's bad, but here is what should genuinely alarm you. AI is on track to surpass Bitcoin, and it is happening faster than anyone predicted. A peer-reviewed study published in the journal Joule projects that by the end of 2026, AI's power needs could reach approximately 201 terawatt hours per year and more. Here is why AI is so hungry. There are two phases to this. Training. This is when companies like Google and OpenAI take the entire internet, every book, every argument, every cat picture, and feed it to a neural network for weeks, sometimes months, using thousands of specialized chips called GPUs running at maximum capacity. One single training run for a massive model can consume 50 gigawatt hours. That is enough electricity to power a small American city for a day. And they do this over and over and over again. Inference. That is a technical word for when you use it. Every time you type, "Write me an email" or "Explain quantum physics," a server farm fires up a series of computations to generate your response. Researchers estimate that if Google switched entirely to AI for search, the additional electricity demand would rival the entire annual energy consumption of Ireland, just for typing question into a box. But the companies building these systems, they have almost no legal requirement to tell you. Google publishes a sustainability report. Microsoft talks about carbon neutrality. Amazon makes promises about renewables. But ask any of them for the specific energy consumption of their AI system, the exact terawatt hours burned to train their latest model to serve their latest chatbot, and you will be met with silence, or carefully worded corporate speak, or an announcement about a new renewable energy deal that conveniently obscures the fact that their overall energy consumption went up by 40%. This is a transparency crisis hiding inside a technology boom. And we all are participants, whether we like it or not. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, but I'm not training AI. I'm just watching YouTube and texting my friend. So let's look at your average Tuesday. You wake up, you check Instagram. Your algorithm serves you 15 posts, each one fetched from a server, compressed, transmitted through a fiber optic cable. Small cost, right. But Instagram serves 500 million stories per day. That weight adds up. You open YouTube, watch a 20-minute video. YouTube re-encodes that video into 12 different formats, just in case you swipe to a different device. You send a few WhatsApp messages, end-to-end encrypted, stored on a cloud backup, archived, tiny cost. But WhatsApp processes 100 billion messages per day. You send a TikTok. Your 30-second video is uploaded, analyzed by an AI content moderation system, compressed, stored, replicated across regional servers, and served to potentially millions of people, each stream consuming its own tiny slice of energy. And across the world, 34 million hours of video are uploaded to the internet every single day. None of this individually is the problem. But here is a physics lesson the internet never teaches us. Scale changes everything. A river is not dangerous, but give that river enough volume and gravity and it carves the Grand Canyon. We have unleashed a river of data, and right now it is carving something we cannot yet see. Let me take you inside the numbers that powerful people hope you never think about. In the United States alone, data centers consumed 4.4% of the entire US grid. By 2028, the Department of Energy projects that number could hit 12%. In Northern Virginia, the data center capital of the world, the grid is buckling. Dominion Energy reported it had 40 gigawatts of data center requests in its queue. That is nearly the peak demand of the entire UK. As a result, power prices in the region are spiking. But electricity is only half the story. Water is the hidden casualty. In USA, data centers directly consumed 17.4 billion gallons of water in 2023. By 2028, that is projected to triple. In Georgia, residents in Fayette County noticed their water pressure dropping. They discovered a data center had consumed 29 million gallons of water without proper authorization, while the state was in severe drought. In Arizona, a developer was caught taking water from Tucson, transporting it across county lines to a data center site, defying the city council's ban. In Oregon, Google consumed a quarter of water in the small town of Dells. When a local paper tried to report on it, Google funded the city's lawsuit against the newspaper, arguing that the water data was trade secret. This is the cost of convenience, and it is being paid by rural towns, drought-stricken farmers, and aging power grids. So why don't we feel this? Why aren't we angry? When you drive a car, you feel the engine vibrate. You watch the gas gauge drop. There is a physical connection between your action and its cost. But when you stream a movie, when you ask Alexa to turn on the lights, and when you scroll for 90 minutes before bed, nothing. No heat, no smell, no feedback loop. The cost is perfectly, elegantly invisible. This is the dark psychology. We are terrible at caring about invisible things. We evolved to fear the tiger in the bushes, not the slow accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The tech companies know this. They engineered the frictionless experience. Autoplay, infinite scroll, it just works. Every removed barrier is a deliberate choice. Because the more you consume without thinking, the more data they mine, the more ads they sell, and the more powerful their models become. Your unawareness is the most valuable asset. But I promise you this wouldn't be doom. And I mean it. Because the problem is massive, but the levers to fix it are right in front of us. Virginia has mandated 100% zero-carbon electricity by 2045. To keep up with the data centers, they are building the largest offshore wind project in the US. Tech companies are increasingly forced to bring their own power, co-locating facilities with solar farms, meaning the power literally comes from a solar farm next door. We are moving to liquid cooling, direct-to-chip cooling, even immersion cooling, dipping servers in the non-conductive fluid. These methods use 90% less energy for cooling than air conditioning. Chip design is advancing. There is emerging discipline. For example, better scheduling algorithms that batch AI inferencing requests during off-peak hours when grid electricity is cleaner and cheaper. Citizens are fighting back. Monterey Park, California, became the first US city to ban new data centers by popular vote. Over $64 billion worth of data center projects were delayed or blocked in 2025 due to local opposition. Arizona, Nevada, and California just signed a historic deal to save the Colorado River. The European Union now requires large data centers to report their energy consumption and efficiency metrics. Ireland, home to enormous concentration of data centers for major tech companies, has begun restricting new data centers constructions until the grid infrastructure catches up. And your power as a consumer. Stop doom scrolling. Turn off autoplay. Lower your video quality to 720p resolution when you're not watching on a 70-inch screen. Delete your old cloud files. These are not sacrifices. They are upgrades to your digital hygiene. But most importantly, ask questions. Ask your AI assistant. Ask your streaming service, what is your carbon footprint? When companies try to hide the data, call them out, because they are afraid of losing you. Every great civilization in history faced an energy crisis. The Romans deforested Europe to heat their baths. Industrial Britain choked on coal dust. The 20th century was defined by the fight for oil. And every single time, human ingenuity found a way forward. Not perfectly, not without cost, but forward. The digital revolution is the most extraordinary thing we have ever built. The ability to put the sum of human knowledge in the pocket of a child in rural Asia. The ability to train AI to cure diseases and translate languages in real time and make education accessible to billions of people. This is beautiful. This is worth protecting. But protecting that future means being honest about its price. It means demanding that the lights stay on without boiling the rivers dry. It means understanding that convenience is not free. The question is not whether technology will shape the future. It already has. The question is whether you will shape technology or keep scrolling while the world burns. You just took the first step. You looked at the machine. If this made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper, subscribe, because we are just getting started. Thank you for listening.